Every dollar used to service the national debt is a dollar that won't be used to build America's infrastructure, that won't be used to keep Social Security solvent, that won't be used to reduce taxes on American businesses so they can create jobs and raise the standard of living for American workers. That's why I and 63 other senators, 32 Republicans and 32 Democrats sent a letter to President Barack Obama earlier this month urging him to show leadership in those efforts to achieve comprehensive deficit reduction. It's also why I and 46 other U.S. senators announced last week that we're co-sponsoring a bill to create a balanced budget amendment to the United States Constitution. And I want to thank our leader, Senator McConnell, for leading that effort. Nearly all states have been bound for years by constitutional provision to keep spending within their means. And this amendment requires that the federal government do no less. It would cap spending and balance our budget. But it also allows an appropriate exception for times of war. At the same time, it provides a transitional pathway to implement the law and protect programs like Social Security and Medicare for our seniors and future generations of Americans. To put this into perspective, the cost of serving America's debt over the next 10 years under the President's proposed budget, $992 billion, is more than the entire Social Security deficit for the decade, which is about $600 billion. In fact, fixing our debt and deficit involves not only setting priorities and cutting discretionary spending, which we're already working hard to do, and we need to work hard to do, but also addressing the three entitlement programs, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, which account for more than 60% of federal spending. We need to undertake a bipartisan effort to reform these important programs in a way that both safeguards our seniors and other vulnerable individuals now, while protecting the solvency of these programs for generations to come. We need our President to engage with us in this process. We can do it, we must do it, and we need to start now. And my third recommendation is that we begin the process of building a comprehensive energy policy for the nation. An Empower America plan, if you will, that promotes the development of all of our nation's vast energy resources, both traditional and renewable. Creating a comprehensive energy policy is especially important because our entire country, our entire economy, and consequently job growth depends on affordable and abundant energy. A few weeks ago, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce released a study identifying 351 stalled energy projects nationwide that are costing the American economy $1.1 trillion in lost economic impact, and more importantly, nearly 2 million jobs annually. By impeding our energy industry, we are impeding one of the most potent areas of prospective job growth. Yet Congress has not passed a comprehensive energy policy in our country in years. And frankly, I don't know that we can wait any longer for that single sweeping master plan that will do it all at once. We need to build it as expeditiously as we can. In North Dakota, we built Empower North Dakota over a decade, piece by piece, and saw firsthand the power of energy development to boost our economy. By embracing Empower North Dakota, our state alone has realized $12 billion in new energy-related investments since 2005. With the right kind of energy policy, imagine what the impact would be for our nation. To expedite the process of building that energy policy on a national level, I'm working with Leader McConnell and the entire Republican conference to create the kind of legal and regulatory climate our country needs to jumpstart America's energy sector and create jobs. For example, this week, myself, along with other senators, co-sponsored an amendment introduced by Senator McConnell to the Small Business Authorization Bill. Based on legislation offered earlier this month by Senator Inhofe, which I and others co-sponsored, this legislation sought to curb the EPA's authority to regulate greenhouse gas and encourage domestic energy development. A permanent measure like this is needed to provide the certainty that businesses need to make billion-dollar investments in new energy projects, and more importantly, create the good-paying jobs that a robust energy sector can provide our country. Our measure won 50 votes yesterday, but failed to gain the 60 necessary for passage. We need to continue to work with our colleagues across the aisle to pass this legislation or legislation like it, because impeding the energy industry is not a Republican problem or a Democrat problem. It's an American problem. It's a challenge that we need to step up and solve. That's why in a similar bipartisan effort, I am working with Senator Joe Manchin to support the EPA Fair Play Act to create more certainty and more energy investment for our country. I've also asked the Energy Information Administration to conduct a focused analysis of regulations that could be impeding the development and growth of the nation's domestic energy production in an effort to find more ways to create rules of the road that will encourage energy companies to invest billions and to build our energy future in America. Increased domestic energy production is a threefer. We not only promote economic vitality, but we reduce our dependence on foreign sources of energy, and we create jobs. Well, the reality is we can do all of these things and more. We can provide a common-sense legal and regulatory environment, a favorable business climate for our industries. We can build a comprehensive energy policy that leverages all of our vast energy resources together with good environmental stewardship. And we can reduce spending, and we can live within our means. We can pay down debt and leave our children a strong financial legacy instead of a large debt burden. These are all things we can and we must do for our nation. We need to work together, my fellow senators, to do just that, for the strength and financial well-being of our country today and for the benefit of future Americans for generations to come. The future is truly in our hands. Thank you, Madam President, and I yield the floor.
Madam President.
The Minority Leader.
Madam President, I want to congratulate the junior senator from North Dakota for his initial speech here in the Senate and say to all of our colleagues it should be no surprise that he was sent here by the people of North Dakota by an overwhelming margin. During his 10 years as governor, the state enjoyed extraordinary success. At a time when many states were struggling financially, North Dakota had bulging surpluses, low unemployment, almost entirely as a result of the outstanding job then Governor Hoeven did in representing the people of North Dakota. So as I say, it's no surprise that they sent him to join us here in the Senate by an overwhelmingly large majority, and I congratulate him on behalf of all of our colleagues on his initial speech.
The Senator from West Virginia.
Madam President, I too rise in support and congratulating the Senator from North Dakota on his maiden speech. I've known then Governor Hoeven for quite some time. His wife and my wife have been very good friends. What you heard is basically a background of the success that he has had in the leadership of his great state. What you don't know is his ability to reach across the aisle in a bipartisan manner. I can only say that John's a dear friend, and John's the type of personality that we need in this body to mend this partisan gridlock that we find ourselves in. And I can't tell you how pleased I am to be still a colleague of his and look forward to many years of success working together, reaching out, finding the problems that we have, addressing the problems, and then like a good governor, taking on and making some good decisions as he's done so well in North Dakota. So my dear friend, it's so good to have you here. Congratulations.
Madam President, I note the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka. Seance.
The senator from Montana,
I'd ask the quorum call be eviscerated.
without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, this week I got an email from a first grader in Missoula, Montana, 7 years old. Her note told me that, said, Senator Tester, please pass a budget so that I can go to Yellowstone National Park this weekend, or at least wait until Monday to shut down the government. I get a lot of letters and calls reminding me what's at stake if some of our colleagues continue to put politics ahead of doing what's right. But I'll always remember that email from Missoula. Madam President, even 7-year-olds expect us to get our job done. They expect us to work together to pass a budget. They expect us to work together to make responsible cuts. They expect us to make sure that we don't put our government and entire economy on life support. And that's exactly what will happen if some in Congress let the government shut down. They will fail all of us. If drawing a line in the sand becomes more important than working together, I think that's a shame. Of course, we can't afford the status quo either. We all know the problem. Everyone wants to point fingers. I could spend my time pointing to those who thought it was a good idea to put 2 wars we're fighting onto the taxpayer's credit card, or those who squandered a $128 billion budget surplus in a matter of months about 10 years ago. But I'll leave it at this. Our debt and spending problem is not something that we got into overnight, and it's not something that we're going to get out of overnight. It's not going to be fixed by slick talking points ginned up by Washington, D.C. consultants. It won't be fixed by symbolic gimmicks. And it certainly won't be fixed by irresponsible decisions like ending Medicare as we know it. It won't be fixed by gutting student financial aid or our physical infrastructure. Those create jobs now when our economy needs it the most. Our spending and debt problem will be fixed by embracing a responsible, credible, long-term strategy to cut our debt, to cut spending, discretionary and mandatory. Right now we're talking about cuts to only 12% of the budget, known as discretionary spending. To strengthen our entitlement programs so that they work for future generations. To reform our tax codes so that it's fair and sustainable. And to cut our defense where we can afford to cut it. We owe it to all Americans to get the job done. But we owe it to them to get the job done responsibly. And that's going to require some buy-in. But we've done it before. During the Great Depression, we endured incredible sacrifice, but we had inspirational leadership who challenged us to grow our way to prosperity. In World War II, we worked together and made sacrifices at home to build the machinery that helped us win victory. That momentum also created a powerful middle class. The attacks of September 11th brought us together again, and again we grew strong. When we work together, we succeed. It's in our DNA. It's what makes us the strongest, most innovative nation in the world. Now we've got to summon that strength and determination again to lead our way out of economic challenges. It won't happen with gimmicks. It's going to take responsible decision-making, compromise, and shared sacrifice. Several of our colleagues here in the U.S. Senate are already leading the way. I want to compliment Senators Chambliss and Coburn and Conrad and Crapo and Durbin and Warner. They're working on a bipartisan strategy to cut debt and cut spending. Their plan will include cuts to discretionary spending. It will make our entitlement program stronger. It will propose cuts to defense spending, and it will include tax reform. Last year, Senator Alan Simpson and Erskine Bowles led a bipartisan commission in outlining a smart, long-term, credible strategy for cutting debt and spending. Senator Simpson and Mr. Bowles say they had 14 reasons for volunteering their time on the Debt Commission. Between them, they have 14 grandkids. While I may not embrace every component of their plan, I applaud their hard work, their leadership, their patriotism. And their hard work is a solid blueprint that we are already building from. I'm ready to join them, and so are many of us in this chamber. We just need to do it. Montanans are patriots, Mr. President. They are ready and willing to follow our lead in providing a fair tax code that provides certainty and fairness, They're willing to share in the pain of responsible spending cuts that won't take our economy backwards, and they know that we can afford to make cuts in defense. They know we need to fix, but not dismantle or privatize our entitlement programs. What's the alternative? Well, we may find out the hard way if folks aren't willing to work together to reach agreement by midnight tomorrow. Shutting down the government means our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan won't get their paychecks on time, even though they'll still be serving us. This week I heard from a soldier deployed in Afghanistan. He says he'd be okay in the short shutdown because he has some savings. But if their paychecks stop coming, a lot of his fellow soldiers will be hurt. Many have lower ranks. Many have pressing financial obligations like mortgages and car payments, and kids to take care of. They'd get the short end of the stick. We have a duty to make sure the people who fight for us in harm's way don't have to worry about something as simple as getting a paycheck. That's why today I signed on to an important piece of legislation to ensure American troops on active duty continue getting paid if the government shuts down. But members of Congress are a different story. If the government shuts down, we don't deserve to get paid, plain and simple. I want to say thanks to my colleagues for unanimously approving our measure to prevent congressional pay during a shutdown. Now, the House needs to follow our leadership. If they fail and if I still get a paycheck, I'm going to give it back. Shutdown also means that government doesn't honor business contracts, so that would cost jobs. It means the IRS suspends refunds. Republican shutdown means new home loan guarantees will stop. It means the SBA stops approving business loans. Patent processing will be suspended. And it means Social Security, Medicare, and veterans benefits checks could be delayed. Right now, in Montana, there are 1,240 veterans benefits claims that are outstanding. If the government shuts down, those 1,240 veterans claims cannot be addressed. And a 7-year-old in Missoula, Montana won't be able to see her national parks this weekend. We can't afford that. Nobody deserves it. We can do better, and we will. And with that, Mr. President, I yield the floor, suggest the absence of quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka.
Senator from Montana.
Be eviscerated.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I have 9 unanimous consent requests for committees to meet during today's session of the Senate. They have the approval of the majority and minority leaders. I ask unanimous consent that these requests be agreed to and that these requests be printed in the record.
Without objection.
Suggest the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka.